Hi guys, it's me in my luxurious studios in Central Texas, USA, with perfect lighting. Everything is perfect in this studio except me. And anyway, it's 4:38 p.m. Central Standard Time, September the 23rd, 2016, and been getting a lot of comments related to buy American products and stop buying stuff made in China. And it's amazing. Whenever, if you ever go, if you cut, cut, excuse me, if you've ever been on a committee of any kind, then you have to know that whenever there's a decision to be made, let's just say that there was a red ball in the middle of the table of this committee meeting, and people are sitting around this table, and everybody had to write down, and the committee had to decide what color that ball was. You would be surprised what's going to happen, because on the first go round, some people are going to say, well, it looks a little pink to me, it looks a little orangey, you know what I mean? And and to you it may look like a bright red ball, but by the time you get through, the committee decision is going to be something like it's an orangey red, pinkish, round object. Okay? That's the way committees work. So, what I'm driving at there is, I brought up this idea of, buy products made in the USA. Well, then you start to get the other opinions, the other thoughts, the other input. And anyway, I'm just going to go down some of these. These are some of the responses that I've gotten so far. And but anyway, this is one from a guy that just says, "Small world. I used to deliver to the Walmart distribution center in Palestine, Texas, about 10 years ago. But anyway, it was a good route and he enjoyed it. And it just points out it's a small world, and it is. It's amazingly small that I'm talking about a Walmart in Palestine, Texas, and this guy drove a truck and delivered there. Anyway, it was a good run because it was over 1,000 miles, what he says. And here's a comment that says, "I like you," and then big capital letters, "but Donald Trump is selling Macy's retail store products made in China." Made in China again. Products on men's apparel. So I think what he meant is, so are you changing your Donald Trump vote? Any comments would be clarified on your thoughts. That's exactly what he said. I'll just guess. I'll give you my input. You know, the reality of it is, Macy's is selling stuff made in China. Donald Trump probably didn't even know what the hell's in the store. Okay, I mean, it's like a corporate executive that sells 5 million different products. Say, for example, the guy that's head of Walmart. And one of them turns out to be defective, and they say, "Well, that damn dirty dog, he sold those." He didn't sell them. He didn't even know they were ordered. He was on vacation in Europe somewhere. But be that as it may, am I changing my Donald Trump vote? No. No, I'm still going to vote for Donald Trump because I don't think Hillary Clinton's a better option. If I thought she was, I'd vote for her. And that's just my own personal choice, just like people are religious and I'm not. But be that as it may, if I thought that politicians were going to solve this issue of basically losing jobs in the U.S. due to foreign exports and also foreign exports of people. Now that's another comment later on here we'll get to. No, they're not going to solve it. If as individuals we don't get up and start a kind of a silent revolution, nothing's going to change. Nothing. Our economy will go to shit. We'll be busted, and the trillionaires will still be trillionaires, and we'll just be walking around like zombies. We'll be poor. But things are going to change in that arena anyway, due to technology. I mean, things are changing so fast. What I'm saying today will be totally obsolete in 5 years, but it's good conversation. Then the next comment is, this was about camping in a Prius. Says, "Rusty, you may not pay as much now to go 500 miles. You just paid it basically up front when you bought the Prius." Now, that's one way to look at it. But the way I looked at it was, I'm an old CPA bean counter type. I looked at that and thought about that. But what I was looking for when I bought the car was a reliable automobile that would be good for traveling, that was quiet, and had a good resale value. And the Prius answered all of those. And on top of that, fortunately, it got excellent gas mileage. I looked at some others, but the base, to get a decent car today, you're looking at $20,000. That's a shame, but you are. Now you can buy cheaper stuff, and you kind of get what you pay for. But $20,000 is what I paid for my Prius 3 years ago, and at that time, a Toyota Yaris with push button start and keyless entry and all the stuff was about $3,000 less. So I couldn't hardly see doing that and getting 30 miles a gallon at that time. But anyway, enough said about that. Those are personal choices, and I chose a Prius. And here's one. I decided to look at my last two purchases from Amazon, where I do most of my shopping. This is the comment. One electronic device was made in China. The other was a mount that holds my iPad mini to my dashboard. It says designed in New York City and manufactured in South Korea. I'm glad it was at least designed here, because that would be a higher paying skilled job. My question for you is, why do we want these, quote, manufacturing jobs? My state was heavily dependent on manufacturing at one time. Everyone here worked in a factory at some point. It's minimum it's minimum wage work and mind-numbingly monotonous. That's true. Also, layoffs were common as demand ebbed and flowed. Now, there's a key point there. At least Walmart, you get 10% employee discount. I think we should concentrate on an educated or skilled workforce, and you're absolutely correct. But the reason the corporations in the U.S. are getting away with paying such low wages is they can get cheap labor overseas. Okay, so what we're doing is we're kind of fighting on two fronts. If we start buying products made in the USA, then that's going to force manufacturing to come back here, and at the same time, the wages will have to go up accordingly, because people in the USA, can live at a certain standard for a certain dollar amount. And I think what will happen is you'll see the tide turn a little bit. They would pay a little more. Now, as far as the getting a 10% employee discount at Walmart, that's correct. I'm sure it is at every retail store that people work at. They do get a discount. But, my opinion, they're so underpaid, that 10% discount makes up for about that much. And, as far as concentrating on an educated or skilled workforce, I'll get to that one next. This guy says right here, a friend just lost his job as a software developer. Company moved to India. $20,000 a year versus $120,000 a year for the same skill set. Okay, what he's saying there is this corporation went over to India, got the same, quote, skill set, a software developer, for $20,000, where they were having to pay $120,000 in the USA, and they don't have to deal with any U.S. labor laws, and that's all true. And he says, is it fair? Of course it's not fair. It depends on who you ask. Well, of course it depends on who you ask, and if you ask the guy in India what he thinks about it, he'll give you a thumbs up. If you ask about the guy in Indiana or New York or wherever it was, he ain't gonna like it a damn bit. But that's happening all the time in this country. We don't produce a lot of engineers, so what they do, they import them. Fortunately, there's quotas because they do bring them in from India and Asian countries, and they work at Microsoft, they work at Google, they work at Yahoo, and the reason is they can get them cheap, and that's all it's all about, folks. And if you start thinking about that, come on. And we're going to go back to just straight out slavery, or maybe we're already there. You got me? So these little things like is happening here, even though it's just a minuscule microscopic event, at least it's bringing people to the point of at least thinking about it and discussing it. Okay, and that was my whole objective from the outset. And one guy says, yes, too many rules, regulations, and unions is what's killing jobs in the U.S. Well, basically what we have is a country that's humane, okay? we have a country where we do have rules and regulations, and a lot of those benefit the people on the job, particularly safety requirements. Because my son is a safety, health, environmental engineer, and got a good job. And yeah, you know, if it wasn't for OSHA and some of these other things, which people hate, then these guys would be working out there digging ditches, and they'd be caving in on them because they didn't brace them like they should. But now they have to. It's required. Has that saved any lives? Probably thousands. You know, and there may be some silly regulations. I agree with that too. But you know, at least we are trying to take care of the workforce that's out there. Uh, da 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 da. Okay, and here's one here. It says Ralph Nader is one to check out and possibly team up with in this China issue. Ralph Nader preached and warned about all this, and media pushed him out and buried him. And they did. That's true. And a lot of people, y'all know, you know who Ralph Nader is. He's the guy that back in the 60s and 70s is the one that got seat belts in cars. He was the one that, the reason you got seat belts and airbags and all the safety things on your car primarily was because of one man, Ralph Nader. So does that tell you something? Yeah, Ralph Nader started the ball rolling, and once he got it rolling, they couldn't stop him. They could not stop him. Well, they could have, but they didn't choose to let him go swimming with the fishes. But yeah, he is still active. He's run for president a couple of times. And but be that as it may, uh, you know, guys like Ralph Nader get the ball rolling, and it's up to people like us as individuals to keep it rolling. You know, and you know, do I really expect this to turn into a major movement that changes the whole freaking world? No. If it did, I'd be tickled to death. But if, you know, it's like 1,000 points of light, you know, you get one little deal here, one little deal here, one, you know, next thing you know, I mean, this right here will affect people uh, in the United States and overseas too, because I get viewers from Indonesia, I get people from Australia, I get people from Canada, got people from England, got other people from Russia. I mean, I got people from all over the world, and that's good, even though it's just that many. It's a few, you know, but a few points of light can turn into a brush fire. You understand? And so. The whole challenge that the world faces, not only the USA, I'm selfish because I'm concerned about our country. Okay, do I have a world view? Yes. Would I like for humanity to live in peace and harmony and everybody gets paid a good living wage and all this? Of course I would. But it's a war out there right now. It's not peace and harmony. There's a trade war going on right now. China's got the upper hand by far. And we're kind of standing with a thumb in our mouth. Do I think this election will change it? I don't know. I'm hopeful that if Trump got elected, that there might be some changes. If Hillary gets elected, I don't think there'll be any. That's just my own personal opinion, because it was her husband that pushed really hard to get China into the I want to say the International Monetary Fund or something, whatever it was, one of the large international trade organizations. Bill Clinton pushed real hard and got them in. And but be that as it may, the playing field is not level. Our country is losing jobs. Wages have gone down, or at least they're stagnant. And you know, what else can you do? You can vote. In fact, I got my ballot today because I vote by mail. Senior citizen, I vote by mail. And, you know, I just put one box on there, and that was the end of that crap. Put it back in the envelope, and it's ready to go. Uh, you know, is that going to make any difference? I'll be quite frank with you. No, it's not. Voting ain't going to do shit. No. People that run this world, voting is just noise. It's like taking a poll. What they do, the geniuses they are, they hedge their bets. They go with both sides. That's the way to play the game. Hedge your bets. Bet on both horses. There's two horses in the race. You bet on them both. One of them wins, you win. That's it. It's that simple. And everybody out there that's hedging their bets and going one way is a sucker. That's it. But anyway, having said that, there are a lot of variables in this issue. And I'm glad that people are at least interested enough to post a comment and think about it. And that's about all I have to say. Is this a thing about, am I just, is this a bashing against Walmart? Of course not. It's just that all roads lead to Rome, so to speak. I mean, who retails the most products made in China? Well, by far, it's got to be Walmart. If they started retailing more products made in the USA at a price that would allow the local businessmen to make a reasonable return on their investment so they can pay their employees well. They got, see, in our country, you got health benefits and retirement plans that companies contribute to. And overseas, that ain't happening. That's not happening. It's not. But anyway, I've talked enough, but I did want to just do this quick video, or this video, to thank all of you people that for just making comments. Whether I agree or disagree doesn't mean poo-poo, okay? But have a good day, okay? And buy American, buy USA made if you choose to. I choose to now. And this is it, IT. He was made in China, or it was made in China, but he's grandfathered in because I got him before I got on my soapbox and decided that I would really focus on buying USA products. I did have an offer from one viewer that they said they would send me a made in America and I do appreciate that. Very kind, very, very, very thoughtful. And but anyway, having said all of that, thumbs up, carpe diem, adios, bye bye. See, I didn't forget it. Getting better, huh?